Welcome to All Home Care Matters, the show where we discuss all things home care, with discussions on important age-related matters and topics. Brought to you by Enriched Life Home Care Services, the #1 rated home care provider in Michigan by Top Rated Local.
Hello, and welcome back to All Home Care Matters. If this is your first time visiting us here at the show, we want to say thank you for taking time out to be with us today. We appreciate how valuable everyone's time is, and that's why we try and make each episode here at All Home Care Matters something that will hopefully matter to you. As our loved ones age, there are many precautions we need to take to make sure they are safe at home. Home safety risks can be easy to miss or even forget about when you're dealing with a stack of other responsibilities, like making sure your mom gets to her doctor's appointment, tracking her progress, and figuring out if she needs extra care. Often, the last thing we think about is taking out loose carpet to prevent falls or putting a handrail in the shower. Home safety, though, must be considered, especially as our loved ones get older and may become more forgetful. Home safety risks include everything from slipping on a wet floor to starting an accidental house fire, so there's certainly nothing to mess with. On today's episode, we'll be focusing specifically on kitchen safety. Oftentimes, the kitchen is the center of activity in a household, from cooking to eating to using the kitchen table for various projects or game nights. The kitchen poses serious risks if precautions are not taken. So today, we'll dive into how you can make sure your loved one's kitchen is as safe as it can be. Today's episode is also part of a new series we'll be doing here on All Home Care Matters, Quick Tips. These shorter episodes will provide you with some fast advice for those days when you don't have a lot of time, but could use some helpful information. And we hope you get a lot out of them in just a little time, so let's get started. Why is kitchen safety specifically so important? Well, let's let the numbers speak for themselves. According to the National Fire Protection Association, 3 in 10 home fires begin in the kitchen, which is a higher number than any other room in the house. Further, according to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, adults over the age of 65 have a 2.7 times higher risk of dying in a kitchen fire than younger people. Fire, though, isn't the only worry, however. There's also a high risk of experiencing gas poisoning or worse from leaving the stove on, slipping on recent spills or newly mopped tile, falling when reaching something from a high cabinet, cutting skin on sharp knives, and burning skin on a hot stovetop. As warm and welcoming as the heart of a household can be, it also comes with its dangers. Kitchen safety precautions are especially important for dementia patients who might forget to turn off a stove or even that they've put food in the oven. We always recommend that dementia patients have assistance in the kitchen and when they're alone to keep the oven and stove unplugged. Other fire safety tips include purchasing electric tea kettles and coffee machines with automatic turn-off features. These appliances will turn off on their own before becoming too hot, so you won't have to worry about the coffee pot starting a fire. Remove loose dish towels that hang on or near the stove, and make sure no curtains are hanging too close to the stove either. Keep ventilation systems cleaned on a regular basis. Dirty ventilation systems are one of the most common causes for kitchen fires. At the same time, make sure the smoke detectors are tested at least monthly, and there's an easy-to-operate fire extinguisher nearby. You should also speak with your loved one about fire safety. Make sure they do not wear loose clothing when they cook and that they know to set a kitchen timer to remind them that something is on the stovetop. When it comes to knife safety, let's begin with the groceries. Purchase pre-cut vegetables and meat when you can so that you eliminate the need for knives whenever possible. When a knife is needed, make sure that it's not sharp enough to cause serious damage, but is sharp enough to get food chopped. It's always better to have someone else do the cutting, particularly if your loved one is suffering with Parkinson's, severe arthritis, or other problems that may cause them to tremor and slip up when cutting. Store the knives and other sharp objects in a safe place where they will not fall or be mistakenly picked up by the blade end out of a drawer. When it comes to fall prevention, start by putting any essential or commonly used items in low-down cabinets, drawers, and pantries. There's no reason that an older adult should be standing on a step stool every day to reach her or his cooking equipment. Heavy items especially should be stored down below to eliminate a risk of dropping the item from above. In the upper cabinets, store any items that are rarely used or only used by caregivers or other family members. Place a non-skid mat in front of the sink to prevent slipping on a wet floor and make sure that any spills are cleaned up right away. If possible, clean the kitchen for your loved one after they are asleep so the floor is dry by the time they wake up in the morning. If they are living alone and handling the cleaning by themselves, remind them to wear non-slip shoes when mopping the floor and to avoid the kitchen altogether for a few hours afterwards. Install motion sensor lights in the kitchen so that your loved one can see when getting a glass of water at night or on a rainy day. If possible, you can even install extra lighting over the stove and oven to help your loved one see even better while they cook. When it comes to burn prevention, make sure oven mitts are placed in an easy-to-see spot where your loved one won't forget to use them. You can also put a note near the stove, but far enough to prevent fire risk, reminding your loved one to use an oven mitt and pot holder. Finally, make sure that all dishes used on a regular basis are unbreakable to help avoid and prevent cuts from broken glass. Make sure the refrigerator is nice and cool so food doesn't spoil. Along those lines, it is common for expired food to pile up in a senior's home if they are experiencing memory problems or mobility issues that prevent them from cleaning out the fridge. Avoid the risk of consuming expired food by checking them regularly. We hope that these kitchen safety quick tips helped you understand why the kitchen is a risky place for seniors and how you can keep it as safe as possible so they don't have to stop spending time in a room they love. Every episode of All Home Care Matters has resources and information that you can find in our show notes or by visiting our website for more information. And make sure you check out the sources we used for this episode for a kitchen safety checklist. We want to thank you for joining us here today at All Home Care Matters. All Home Care Matters is here for you and to help families as they navigate long-term care issues. Please visit us at allhomecarematters.com, where there is a private, secure, fillable form where you can give us feedback, show ideas, or if you have questions. Every form is read and responded to. And please, if you know someone who could benefit from this episode, please share it with them. And remember, you can listen to the show on any of your favorite podcast streaming platforms and watch the show on our YouTube channel. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. And please join us next time as we talk about understanding glaucoma. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to you joining us again on another episode of All Home Care Matters. To learn more about the show and to connect with us, visit us at allhomecarematters.com.